Hi, Jacob with Agorapulse, and in this tutorial today, we're going to be taking a look at how to create an advanced listening search in Agorapulse. Agorapulse's advanced listening is going to allow you to listen proactively across many different sources like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even web, news, and blog sources so that you, again, can proactively listen for this content, for brand mentions, maybe even competitor content, or really any kind of digital topic or discussion that's important to your needs. Let's go ahead and hop right in. Your advanced listening can be accessed right here. Now, if you already have searches created, your advanced listening dashboard is going to be a great quick glance at all of the listening searches you've created. What you'll see is what you're listening for, the description that is, what networks you're listening to, keywords, hashtags, what are the triggers and sources for that search, and then also some really cool quick glance insights for the volume that's being pulled in from this search, how much content's being pulled in from that listening search, the engagement level, and also the sentiment score. What is the level of sentiment for this particular search? Now, to create a search, we'll click right here in the top right-hand corner. Now, when you're building your listening search, you have three main areas: your search details, give your search a name, a brief description, so you can see that on the preview. And then you're going to choose your sources. Keep in mind that each one of these sources handles what they can and how they can listen to their networks specifically. So you'll come on, turn your sources on, and then you have your parameters. Your parameters are going to indicate to your sources that you've turned on what you want to listen for, what you want to proactively search for in your advanced listening. So let's go ahead and take a look at a full search we've already created. So for this new listening search, we are looking for listening best practices. And I've given a description for me, myself, my team. This is for pulling in news, any social tips, anything that's revolving around social listening best practices. Now, for this example, I have turned on all of our sources here: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and again, web and news blogs as well. So again, once you have your sources turned on, your next step is to set up parameters to identify what these sources are going to be listening for in Agorapulse. Your parameters is where you're going to really fine tune your search. This is where you're going to be combining different parameters, maybe keywords, hashtags, mentions on certain pages. So let's take a look at how we've built this one out and what you can do in the parameters. Now, in your parameter builder, you can select your different parameters such as mentions for your page, hashtags, and keywords. For mentions specifically, make sure that you are picking your particular page for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you want to set up one search to monitor multiple page mentions, keep that in mind. You'll create a parameter for each of your pages. So I would add in a mention, add in a new parameter, and add in another mention. Now, for keywords and hashtags, these will apply potentially to a couple of different networks depending upon your needs. For example, hashtags will be applied across Instagram and Twitter, whereas keywords can be applied across Twitter and also the web, news, and blog sources. Now, keep in mind for hashtags and keywords, if you do want to turn on a particular source, maybe I only want to listen to this hashtag on Instagram or Twitter, you can turn on those sources to fine tune this even further. Speaking of fine tuning, you will also have Boolean options when you're creating this search for or and options. The or options will encapsulate everything within that search, whereas the and is going to be a little bit more specific. For example, here, I'm listening for the keyword best practices and social listening. If it's just best practices and it does not include social listening, that will not populate within this search. Now, to get even finer tuned, you have the ability to exclude parameters as well. I might be listening for certain best practices, but maybe I don't want to listen on a certain network or for a certain topic. Exclude that in your exclusion parameters. Now, for those users that are utilizing the web and blog sources, this is an amazing way to get even more granular. You have your language and your location options, so I can start identifying specifically certain content types in a particular language or certain content types coming and being generated from a particular country or region. When it comes to your parameters, you can add as many in as you need to either create a broad net or a very fine-tuned listening search. Once you're done with your search, go ahead and save your search. Now, Agorapulse is going to start proactively listening, start pulling in content, start pulling in metrics, and this search will be live, constantly pulling in new items that are created within that search criteria. I mentioned here in your dashboard, you have a great high-level overview. I can already see that the listening best practice, we have 202 posts generated from that. We have a very positive sentiment score, and we have a pretty high engaged volume as well too. Now, if I want to go deeper into this, we simply click on the listening search card. Boom, and this is going to expand out to a lot more granularly, and let's talk about that specifically. Now this detailed view in your listening search has two main sections. You have your metrics section right here, and you have all the content that is being pulled in as well too. We'll get to both of those sections in just one second, but before we do, what's really cool about this view is you can narrow down to see specifically what you need to see. For example, if I only want to see what's going on my web sources, I can turn off all the social sources, and then we see that, hey, out of all those 202 posts, 23 posts are coming from the web. I can also narrow down by sentiment. Maybe I want to see all the positive posts. Maybe I want to see all the negative posts that are coming in from the web. I can also limit and narrow down by the content type. So you can get very broad and very specific if you need to in this view. Now in the content section, you have filters here as well. This is going to default that you are seeing everything that's coming in within this listening search from the past 7 days, but you also have filters for 14 days and 30 days out as well. You can also view your content section here by creation time. So newest or oldest content, and then my personal favorite is the engagement. I always want to look at what posts are getting the most engagement for that particular search to help inform my content strategy. Now again, keep in mind with the content filters over here and the network filters, I can narrow down specifically what I'm seeing over here in this content. If I only want to see Instagram posts, I can select that. Any other network, you can do the same as well. When you're in this content section, you're going to see the post, the content, and again, it's going to highlight the keyword, the hashtag, or the mention that you were listening for specifically. Something also really cool is, again, the sentiment that's going to be automatically calculated to each and in every individual post. If you do need to engage or take any further action, you always have this ability to go view this content natively. Now, when it comes to the nitty-gritty of advanced listening, the metrics are really what's going to help us inform our strategy. Now, what we're looking at right here is our volume metrics. How much volume, how many total posts, average volume, and were there unique authors, or is it just maybe coming from one individual profile? These are all really good insights to help us inform, do we want to play in this big space with a lot of content, or maybe we want to look at maybe an area that has less posts where we can be more impactful with our content. Next up, we have our sentiment analysis. This is an amazing way to really get at a quick glance an understanding of what is the general sentiment of this topic. Now again, with all of our different sources, sentiments, and attachments, you can remove certain network sources or attachment types to see if that impacts the certain type of sentiment. Are we getting a lot of positive sentiment on Instagram versus when we're seeing and pulling in a lot of content on Twitter? This sentiment report is going to change and adapt based upon these criteria you have. And again, an amazing way to track what is the energy around this topic, our mentions, or maybe a competitor to content that we are listening for. Right below your sentiment overview score, you have a sentiment trend. You can see the trends in this. This is really helpful for understanding topics. Maybe certain content pieces are seasonal. Maybe they're seasonal, weekly seasonal, if that makes sense. Maybe it's better to post this stuff on Monday versus Friday. This is a really great way to look at those trends and how people are reacting to that content. And finally, you're gonna have your engagement trend. This is a really good way to understand, is this kind of content relevant and important for audiences in general? Is this something that we want to maybe pull into our strategy, or maybe kind of tweak what we're already doing with some of the ideas that we've seen? So as we're looking at total engagement, high number is always great. The average engagement per day being high is great as well too. This really helps inform if the content that we may be thinking about creating, or if this topic is a very engaged topic to serve to our audience. Thanks so much for watching. To learn more about our advanced listening, please feel free to visit our website or start a direct chat with us today. Bye.